So one of the main questions I get from the site or family and friends is, how do I start juicing? What should I put in my juicer? What type of juicer should I get? Jake, how do I start? And I always tell them, the first thing I always say is just put it all together and just juice it up, or put it in a blender and blend it up and see how it, how it can taste. But today I'm going to kind of talk to you about, really the basics of juicing and what you should start with and what you should be, not putting in, what you should be putting in, how much of each, etc. I'm not going to give you so many of recipes, but it's just kind of like basic 101. Here's kind of like what I do and my family does. So we're going to start with kind of the first rule that I always have. It's the number one most important rule. It's the problem with juicing. This is the problem that a lot of people have with the different juicing videos is, and a lot of friends will say, Jake, I started juicing, I had like an apple, I had a carrot, I had some strawberries, I had some kiwi. No, that's terrible. That's wrong. We want to do more vegetables. The whole point of this is I'm not going to sit here and eat kale and parsley and celery just right now. It's not probably my favorite food, but I want to incorporate it into my diet more. So what I'll do is I juice it. But we're only going to offset it with maybe a little bit of an apple. Carrots obviously are vegetables, but they have kind of a sweet flavor as well. Maybe some lemons and some limes, but not too much high sugar type of foods. So I like to go with what I call like the 80-20 rule. We want to have about 80% greens or vegetables and maybe about 20% fruits and kind of sugar, fructose related produce. And the easiest one to do, the easiest one that I always like to do is some kale, spinach, celery, carrots, apples, and maybe a couple other, maybe it's ginger or maybe it's garlic. But the other most important thing you need to know on top of the 80-20 rule is that you need to always juice organic vegetables and produce. Problem with that is, if you don't, is the conventional stuff that you get at your grocery store, although it's probably a little bit cheaper, is going to have way more pesticides on it. Way more pesticides is not good because when we're juicing it, it's a very, very concentrated source of juice. So you always want to do organic. And then the last one, the third one, which you always have to do is rinse it. Rinse it, rinse it, rinse it. Organic or not, your own garden or not, always rinse it. Who knows what's on it, what dog peed on it, or what person at the grocery store touched it. You always want to rinse it. Rinse it, rinse it, rinse it. And then once you get done, you have everything ready, you're going to put it in your juicer. Right now, today, we have the Omega juicer. It's the 8006. I really like it. It's the juicer that I use, but there's some others like the Juice Max, which is another good brand. But this is what we call a masticating juicer. It's kind of like when you're chewing your food, you're kind of masticating it, you're chewing all the juices out. It's the same thing here. And then we're going to show you how to really create one of these great juices of all the things I've just told you, incorporate everything, and make you a nice glass of some green juice. So we're bringing it to you.